There is an abandoned village in Rajasthan, India by the name of Kuldhara. The urban legend of Kuldhara is said that the villagers cursed the land before leaving so that no other could ever settle within it again. The story goes that in 1825, the ruler of Jaisalmer, Salim Singh, became infatuated with the daughter of the village chief. The villagers chose to leave the village rather than to submit to the tyrant's demands. This is a fictional story of one such encounter. It started with a dare from our subscribers. Spend the night in Kuldhara, one comment read, which garnered hundreds of likes. If you're serious about exploring haunted places, then this should be your next stop, said another with equal attention. I wish now that I'd ignored them, because what we encountered in that village still haunts me today, but Marcus and I, always eager to push the limits for our channel, decided to take up the challenge. We walked through the entrance of the village, a stone archway that seems to exhale a cold breath as we passed underneath it. Even during the day, the village was deathly silent, no sounds except for our footsteps in the sand. The air felt heavy, almost suffocating. If it's like this during the day, imagine it tonight, I thought to myself. We spent the afternoon mapping the village, taking mental notes of the places where we felt the most uneasy so we could return to them later to explore. After visiting hours were done and the village was no longer open, Marcus and I stayed hidden until we knew it was safe to come out. We set up our gear near the front gate, just out of sight of any night watchman. The ruins of houses surrounded us, with open doorways like gaping mouths, as if the village itself was silently screaming. As night fell, the temperature dropped. A biting wind whips through the ruins, carrying with it a faint whisper that neither of us could pinpoint. After a while, the whispers grew louder. They started sounding like a woman soft crying. It was unsettling, to say the least. The whispers stopped, leaving a deafening silence in its wake. Marcus and I look at each other, and just before I say something, we heard the crunch of sand as if someone was slowly walking towards us. We shined our flashlights towards the sound, but all we see is an empty doorway. We walked towards the door, taking slow, deliberate steps. As we entered, the silence felt like a vice against my ears. I closed my eyes and take a deep breath to settle my nerves. We walked around the empty ruin. Sand covered everything. I looked up to the starry sky and wondered what this place looked like back when it was a home for someone. The memories trapped within the walls could tell its own story. In my transfixed state, I did feel as Marcus came up beside me and touched my arm. He points to the top of the stairs, where there was a swirling dark mass just hovering there. I stood there for a moment, watching it swirl around itself. I gripped my camera tighter as I tried to focus on the recording, but every nerve in my body screamed to run. After a few minutes, it vanishes, leaving a darkness in its wake. I follow Marcus back out into the cold night, and we continue our exploration. Out of nowhere, Marcus gasped and pointed to one of the houses. I saw her, a woman. She was just standing there, he whispers. I turned the camera in the direction of the house, and the air grew impossibly cold. The whispers returned, louder than before, circling us like predators. Leave, the whispers say, the word stretching and distorting as it echoes around us. Without saying a word, I start packing up, but just as I'm throwing my backpack on, the sound of a crying child fills the air. It was faint at first, then grew louder, more desperate. We both shine our flashlights around the ruins. A shadow appears and disappears as soon as we shine a light on it. It circles us, coming in and out of focus. It looked about the size of a child, but I could never see it long enough to confirm. The crying turns into a sinister laugh, and it's at this point we decided to leave. As we gather our equipment, the village seemed to come alive with movement. Black mists drifted between the ruins. Shadowy figures appeared in the doorways, silently watching us as we stumbled to pack. We hurried back to the car, but the village wasn't done with us yet. The sinister laugh follows us, growing louder with each step we take. Just as we reached the car, the air filled with a final blood-curdling scream, a sound I will never forget and still brings chills when I think of it. We didn't speak as we drove back. I hoped whatever we captured on video is enough to satisfy our subscribers, because I can't explain what we experienced in Kuldhara without sounding like I've completely lost my mind. But one thing is for sure, the curse of the village is real and is better left undisturbed. If you like these kinds of stories, comment down below your country's local urban legends, and I'll create a story around it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.